Hello and welcome to a special edition of the Sports Chat podcast. Breaking news coming from Rotherham United last night that Neil Warnock is confirmed as the club's new manager until the end of the season. Joining me around the Sports Chat table to discuss that matter is Rotherham Advertiser editor Andrew Mosley.
Hello.
Sports editor Paul Rickett.
Hello.
Columnist and all-round funny man Charlie Graves.
Very good morning to you all.
And news editor Michael Upton.
Hello everyone.
So let's start with you then, Paul, as the sports guru. Neil Warnock, good appointment?
It's got to be a good appointment. I think the situation calls for big names. 16 games left to rescue the club. I think it's going to be a colourful ride. I think Neil may have mellowed over the last few years, but he's still got the skill set, I think, to get Rotherham out of the situation that they're in at the moment. 3 points adrift, it's a tall order. But I think he might just be the man to do it.
Charlie's got a lot of experience in the Championship, hasn't he? That's where the biggest part of his managerial career has come. Sheffield United, QPR, so on and so on. What Rotherham need at the minute, isn't it?
I'm not so sure really, but I mean, yeah, it's colourful and it'll be interesting, but let's face it, he's not the Messiah, is he? And he's still got the same raw material to work out with as Neil Redfern, so let's not get carried away. Problem is, he might have a good start, but what happens if he loses the next 2 or 3 games? We can't get anybody else, so, you know, it's a tall order. I don't think he's got anything to lose. You know, if they go down, he goes back to Cornwall and, you know, looks at his sheep and whatever.
Glad you said looks at his sheep.
Whatever, yeah. So, I don't know, great, you know, but I still think Neil Redfern got the sticky end of the stick, and I think... having appointed him, they should have stuck with him.
I think we're all agreed on that, aren't we? That Neil Redfern got a...
Yeah, it was tough, weren't it, for Neil, because he didn't have much to work with and he didn't have much time either, the shortest serving Rotherham United manager. Obviously, if Neil Warnock only stays till the end of the season, he will then become the shortest serving Rotherham United manager. Michael, Rotherham need a bit of fighting spirit, don't they? They need that never say die attitude. Is Neil Warnock the man to bring that?
Well, I would think so. I wouldn't mind a point. It's cows down in Cornwall, not sheep. I think maybe what counted against Neil Redfern is maybe he was a thinker and not a motivator, and Redfern maybe a bit too mild for the characters they got. Warnock is certainly a fighter, isn't he, rather than a lover, and I think he'll put a few noses out of joint, but he should get them fired up.
Andrew, the press should get some good quotes from him, shouldn't they? He's known for speaking his mind, shall we say.
He's not speaking his mind, he's funny, he's passionate, but I'm not sure that's quite enough. I think the fans would rather see him doing it on the pitch. Unfortunately for him, he's got the same squad that Neil Redfern inherited, plus 2 or 3 cropped players that they brought in, and he's going to find it hard. I mean, the excitement level's risen among the fans due to his appointment, but that can soon dip.
But Paul, it is a big name appointment, isn't it? For Rotherham United, the club they are, where they are, it's a big name. It's possibly the biggest name they've ever had as a manager.
I don't think so. I was thinking last night when the appointment was announced, and for me, it is the biggest name since Emlyn Hughes back in the early 80s. Let's hope that this is more successful than that was, because it didn't work out as Rotherham hoped it would do. Look, for me, the problem Rotherham have got at the moment is that Neil Warnock, you could bring Jose Mourinho in, and he's still got the same players to work with. That spine of the team for me is not there. It's not good enough. They need a calibre of player in this division. They've got a good manager, but he can only work with the tools he's got. Let's see what he's made of now. But he's good at firefighting.
That's it, and he's got to go back to basics, hasn't he? He's got to make Rotherham hard to beat and grind out results. They need to still be in games with 20 minutes left, don't they, Charlie?
Yeah, but I can't agree with Michael about this saying, well, yeah, he's a great motivator. Players in their position shouldn't need motivating. You know, if they need motivating, then they shouldn't be at the club, should they? I'm with Paul here in the fact that I just wonder whether they've got the calibre of person who's capable of keeping them in this division.
Well, time will tell, won't it, Andrew? And there's not much time at that. Neil Warnock likely to be in the job for around 2.5 to 3 months.
I think that's probably what he's likely to be in the job for. I'm looking at the games over the last few weeks. They're still not scoring goals. They look defensively more fragile than they were. There's nothing coming from the midfield. There hasn't been a lot for the fans to shout about. And they're talking about being a mid-table team as far as budget's concerned, but they don't have mid-table players.
Where do they go from here then, Michael? I mean, it's obviously a short-term appointment. Is it a case of starting again in the summer?
Well, it remains to be seen. I mean, you never know what Neil Warnock thinks come the summer if he keeps him up. Is he going to be looking for another contract? Is he going to be asking for more money? Possibly so. Fact remains, we've been saying in this podcast all season, they can't keep clean sheets. They need to sort the defence out. I'm not sure if Neil Warnock's necessarily a man known for his great defensive prowess over the years. But he'll look at the squad, and in terms of who he brings into the side, not necessarily going to make it defensively better. He's going to work with what he's got.
You've got Greg Alford waiting in the wings.
And you look back at the sacking of Neil Redfern, it was the interesting timing after the transfer window's closed.
After the assistant manager.
He has to work with what he's got. So are we saying that if they stay up, it's going to be a rebuilding job? And if they do go down, it's certainly going to be some kind of rebuilding job. And I'm not sure Neil Warnock necessarily wants to be the man to do that.
I think Warnock's got the momentum with him because of his personality and that. But I think the interesting point will come is what happens if they don't do very well in the next 4, 5, 6 games. You know, they can't appoint somebody else.
Where do they go
from there? Where do they go from there? So I think it's very interesting. But
he's going to reignite the passion a bit, isn't he, for a few weeks?
And for the fans as well.
Yeah,
the New York Stadium has been a little bit flat over the last few weeks. So it might get the fans going, which might G up the players as well.
Charlie said a couple of times they can't go get someone else. Tony's shown that he's capable of making I would say a fairly rash decision to sack someone after a short period of time. If they lose the first 8, 9 games without getting a single point, won't put past them sacking someone else and bringing someone else for the last 4 or 5 games.
The season.
This is a championship. 38 managers have gone in 22 clubs this season. So who's to say that they won't get someone else in for the last 4 or 5 games?
Paul, obviously Neil Warnock thinks that the squad's good enough to stay up, doesn't he? Or someone that took the job, he doesn't need to take that risk, he doesn't need it on his CV, he doesn't need the money. Obviously he thinks he can come in and save this team.
I think Neil Warnock likes a challenge. We've seen that over his career. Listen, he doesn't want a big black blow on his CV. He's 67 years old, he's coming to the end of his career as a manager. But he's a proud man. He doesn't want to he wouldn't come here thinking, "Oh, this is a basket case. We're going down. Let's look at next season." He wants to keep them up, and I think with the fans behind them, and I think they can just dig out the points they need. They're not that far adrift.
2 points, yeah.
They can get there, but it'll need a big effort from everybody.
Right, gentlemen. Let's go around and predict then if we think Neil Warnock can keep Rotherham in the Championship this season. Andrew, what are you saying?
No, I think it'll be close. I think it'll come down to the last game or two, but I think they might just fall.
Paul?
Hey, look, my glass is half full. I think he can. Forget all these doom and gloom mongers. Yeah, he can.
Mr. Graves.
What do you want to do next year?
I can't even find the glass, so I'm subbing. I think they're going to go down because when you look at the games against Charlton and Bolton, where we should have shown some passion, these are the games we should have won or got something from. We didn't, so I think it'll be interesting, but I think it's too much.
Michael?
I'm not at all surprised by that. It depends what your glass has got in, whether it's half full or half empty, really. But I think they've shown they're capable of beating teams like Brighton and Hull. We're talking about the same players. They can get some results. Fans can help galvanise them. Someone's going to be optimistic. Why not? It's going to come down to the last game, and then they're going to maybe need a result, and who knows, maybe they can get it. Let's not forget that there are a lot of really bad teams down there with them.
Well, looking at Rotherham's stats this season, they've picked up more points against top half teams than bottom half teams, and more points at home, a lot more points at home than away. So the home games against top half teams should be where Rotherham could pick up their points. Starting Saturday against Birmingham. Nice little segue there. Make sure you pick up next week's advertiser and make sure you sign up for the match on Monday to find out everything about that game against Birmingham, Neil Warnock's first game in charge. Make sure you stay tuned this afternoon as well from 3 p.m. for the official unveiling of Neil Warnock at the New York Stadium. We'll be there at Rotherham Sport for all the Twitter activity and all the quotes, and the website www.rotherhamadvertiser.co.uk for all the latest updates. Gentlemen, I'll thank you for your time and I'll thank you at home for listening. Thank you.